So, what if I told you that you could literally steer the entire direction of your life just by making three simple decisions? Well, today we're going to break down this incredible framework from Tony Robbins that promises exactly that. And believe it or not, it all comes from this one powerful, life altering memory he had as a kid on Thanksgiving. All right, let's get right into this story, because this isn't just some anecdote. It's a really raw, real memory that became the foundation for his entire philosophy on life. Okay, so I want you to picture this. You've got a young Tony Robbins, and he's growing up in a really tough spot. Money was super tight, and the house was just, filled with stress, constant arguments. It was not an easy childhood. And then it's Thanksgiving Day, a day that's supposed to be all about gratitude, about abundance, right? But for his family, there was nothing. No money, no turkey, no feast. The tension in that house, you could cut it with a knife. It was at an all-time high. And then, out of nowhere, there's a knock at the door. They open it, and there's a total stranger standing on their porch. And this guy is holding a complete Thanksgiving meal. I'm talking a huge turkey, all the fixings, literally everything they needed. But here's the twist. His dad's reaction? It wasn't relief. It was pure anger. His pride just flared up, and he goes to slam the door right in the guy's face, yelling, "We don't accept charity here." But the delivery guy, he was persistent. He actually sticks his foot in the door to block it. So Tony's dad tries to slam it shut again, and the man just holds his ground and says something that changes everything. "Sir, please, don't let your ego make your family suffer." And in that one instant, everything just stopped. His father looks away from the stranger, and he looks over at his wife and his kids, his hungry family. And right there, in that one single moment, something shifted. His focus changed. He took the food and just quietly closed the door. So that one event, that single moment, it revealed this profound truth. Our focus is what determines our reality. It's not about our circumstances. It's about where we point our attention. And what Robbins realized is that this power, it all boils down to three key decisions we're making literally every single moment of every day. Think of these like the three main switches on the control panel of your life. It's that simple. First, are you focusing on what you have or what's missing? Second, are you focusing on what you can control or what you can't? And third, where do you choose to live? In the past, the present, or the future? Okay, so now let's actually break each of these down. Because what's so powerful is that even a small, conscious shift in just one of these areas can totally change your entire experience of life. It's a game changer. So let's start with the first one. What do most people focus on? The things they have or the things that are missing? And seriously, think about this for a sec. Because even the most successful people on the planet, people who look like they have everything, they get trapped by this one all the time. Yeah, you can see there are really two paths here. On one side, you've got the path to frustration. That's that classic, "I'll be happy when I get the promotion," or "I'll be happy when I buy the house." But on the other side, you have the path of gratitude. And this isn't about not having goals. It's about actually enjoying the journey and appreciating what you have right now while you're working towards what you want. And here's the trap when you're always focused on what's missing. It's like being on a happiness treadmill. You hit a goal, right? You get this little blip of satisfaction, and then boom, you're immediately looking for the next thing. You're always chasing, and you never actually feel like you have enough. It's just an endless and, honestly, a joyless pursuit. Okay, let's move on to the second big decision. And man, this one is a massive source of stress for most of us. The question is, where are you putting your energy? Are you focused on the things you can actually influence, or on all the stuff that's completely out of your hands? The pandemic was a perfect example of this. You had people who were obsessed with things they couldn't control. Government policies, what other people were doing, the virus itself. And they just felt anxious and angry all the time. But then you had people who focused on what they could control. Things like their own health, their daily routine, their mindset, how they treated their family. And they were the ones who found a way to make progress and feel empowered. And make no mistake, the cost of getting this wrong is huge. When you pour all your energy into stuff you can't change, you just end up feeling completely powerless. You feel like a victim of your circumstances. And that feeling, it's a direct pipeline to stress, anger, and frustration. All right, that brings us to the third and final focus, and this one is all about time. Where do you live, mentally speaking? Are you stuck dwelling on past regrets and mistakes?
Are you anxiously worrying about a future that hasn't even happened? Or are you right here in the present moment?
Now, let me be clear. Successful people absolutely plan for the future. They think about it a lot, but they don't live there. They get that the only place you have any real power, the only place you can actually take action to create that future you want, is right now, in the present. When you live in the past or the future, you're giving away all your power. So the takeaway here is really simple, right? The past is for learning from, but not living in. The future is for planning for, not worrying about. The present? That's where the magic happens. That's where you have the power to actually make a change. And this really brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. When you consciously choose where you put your focus across these three areas, you are quite literally choosing your own destiny. So here it is, the whole framework laid out in one spot. And the choice couldn't be clearer, right? On one side, you have the traps that lead to frustration. On the other, the empowering choices that lead to a powerful life. It's a choice between feeling gratitude or feeling lack. A choice between feeling in control or feeling helpless. And a choice between being present or being lost in the past and future. And just to bring it all home, let's go back to that Thanksgiving story. In that one critical moment, Tony Robbins' father made a conscious shift. He stopped focusing on his wounded pride, on what was missing, and he chose to focus on what he had right in front of him, a family that needed him and an opportunity to provide for them. That single shift in focus changed everything for them that day. So the question I want to leave you with is this. If your life is a story, a movie, where are you pointing the camera right now? Because the answer to that question, well, that's what's going to define your entire story.